Hello and welcome to MythCast number 8. I am your host, Clan Mythology's very own vocal terrorist, Jesse Voctor Rain. This is a Sunday and I have been given a fantastic replay to watch. I've been told it's going to be very exciting and that I'm going to enjoy it an awful lot. As you can see, we are on Acheron Waste and the first player in this MythCast is a Blue Zerg. He is, of course, my personal StarCraft 2 coach and an all-round fantastic player on Clan Mythology. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Xeno! Still can't scroll in. Okay, I will attempt to fix that once more in the future. Eventually I will learn how to zoom in this game. I will fix that scroll wheel one day. And of course, opposing Xeno here is the Purple Terran, a man featured many times on MythCast and on my other series, Community Cast, over on Sarcasm Gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Nathan! So, it is a TVZ between two of Clan Mythology's finest players. This is going to be fun. Nathan going for the very standard wall off. Xeno going for the very standard make drones and then make a hatchery here. So, completely standard openings from both players. It's nice to be back doing StarCraft 2 again. It's been a while, I have to be honest. I've missed it. I've missed the Myth players. I've missed StarCraft 2. But I have a fantastic new computer that is doing an awful lot of work for me here. And hopefully everything now is in much greater quality than it ever has been before. And you should all enjoy it even more off the back of that. So, we are seeing this gas go up. But it's a fairly, what I would call a late gas. We can see this go into Reapers. We can see it used to throw down an add-on. And considering that there's no supply depot here, I think it very well could be for an add-on. But we'll have to see. Supply depot might begin to go down now. Yep, it's going to be the Reaper opening instead, which is perfectly fine. It's quite a late Reaper opening because you get the Marine first. You build this gas later than you would otherwise. Allows you to be fairly defensive with this Marine. Check that nothing stupid's going on outside of your base. But you can still get in and scout with the Reaper. It just means that you don't get quite as full harassment potential as you would otherwise, because the Queen will be popping out. It will be prepared. Same against as when you play against Protoss. It gives them time to get a Stalker out and be prepared for you. But you still do get good scouting information, and if you keep it alive, can definitely be used as the game goes on to continue to get good scouting information. Like I say, it just means you can't harass as well. And now we're going to see Nathan's second command center going down, already with the orbital command in the main. Also checking over here, trying to catch any Overlord scouting paths coming in, which is very nice. And this first Reaper will be met by the weirdly skinned Zerglings. Can kite them away, but good micro by Xeno, pulling back the injured Lings each and every time, trying to keep them alive until this Queen pops, and he is doing fantastically. Queen pops, no Lings have been lost, and at this point, there's not really any scouting information other than that there is an expansion, which honestly you can get with an SCV. So right now that Reaper, not really worth the gas, but he will heal up, and in fact I don't think he took a hit. We do now have this Reaper trying to do some damage. Great use there, keeping that drone alive by turning it into an extractor, and now just cancels it. Great stuff there by both players. Really doing everything they can at this point to create an advantage for themselves. Nathan being the aggressor in this situation. And now he just walks straight up the ramp, tries to pop down, will get that drone. Nicely done. The Queen is completely out of position. And again, just escapes. Meanwhile, back at home, he's building a third command center. He is going full on greedy at this point. And of course, it's not scouted. Xeno is in a position where he's just seeing this expansion. He's thinking, yep, completely normal. This, not so normal. And because of the Reaper harassment at the front, he doesn't feel free to use these Speedlings to move out and check up here. So this allows Nathan to get really an early advantage. His third base will be done before Xeno's third is finished, which is an incredible move for a Terran to have a third base completed before their opponent. Kudos to Nathan for really pulling off something as ballsy as this, especially building it on this low ground rather than up on the high ground. That really is some ballsy stuff. Of course, the factory is done. We're going to start to see Hellions coming out of there. We've got a tech lab going down on the barracks to provide us with those glorious upgrades. Combat shield and stim will no doubt be on the way. And then really we'll get to see where Nathan wants to take this. With getting 3 bases early, it would make sense to throw down a ton of racks. But there are players that do this into mech. That will then take this 3rd base very, very quickly and really start spamming off of the gas. Meanwhile, we see a baling nest going down from Xeno. We do have the double Evo chamber as well. So Xeno's setting up for what is really a very standard Zerg versus Terran game. We'll have to see, it remains to be seen, whether or not Nathan will allow it to be a standard game though. What will he do with all this extra money? And yep, I did tell you, Nathan is just not looking like a bio player to me in the TVZ matchup. We're only just now seeing these extra gases though, so this is quite late now that he's throwing down these 2 factories. Would have liked to have seen him get those a bit earlier, especially with all the harassment he's doing. But now we will see him go up to 4 gas. We're seeing continued pressure with these Hellions and this Reaper, so this is really fantastic stuff. Xeno has been kept fully in the dark about everything beyond that initial expansion, and now this initial Queen even starts to go down, so has to retreat, allowing Nathan to clear up creep 2 mat. Guys, if you want to be greedy in TVZ, this is what you need to do. Be continually aggressive without being unsafe. Those Lings need to be careful. Nice attempt at a surround. They will start to get cleaned up though. Wants to pick off the Reapers and the Hellions if he can. He's starting to line them up though, so let's be very careful not to lose too many Lings. But now we're seeing more and more Lings come out. It is going to be time for Nathan to go home, to start setting up to defend a potential all-in. With, of course, 1-1 on the way with that baling nest done. This front here is bustable. There is only 1 bunker there at the moment, and the rest is supply depots. There is no reason at all that Xeno would not be able to bust up there if he chose to. He has the money, he has the gas, and we're seeing the Spire come down as well. So I wouldn't mind seeing him just pressure this front. There's not a lot but Hellions out. So with a few good baling hits, these could actually go down. You do need baling speed for that though, so we'll have to wait for that to be finished. Not timed, unfortunately, to finish with 1-1 quite, but it is close. Yeah, just a, well, I guess maybe a minute or so off of in-game time, that is. We've got spores going down to protect against any potential Hellbat drops, which is really nice. We've got a good drone count from him as well, sitting right now at 55 on these 3 bases. I'm sure we'll start to see more added as he will want to take further gases and even further bases. He's continued his creep spread as well, despite the fact that a lot of it did get cleared up by Nathan. That hasn't stopped him. He's continued to push out with this. And now here comes another large bank of Hellions. Again, just checking for any forward forces, making sure that nothing particularly aggressive is rolling across the map, while, of course, he takes this 3rd base. At this point, the 3rd base is slightly vulnerable due to these rocks still being up. 2 tanks down at the front will help against Balings, but with speed and some good targeting, there's no Widow Mines there. They could definitely still bust through here. So Nathan's still in somewhat of a precarious position. So we can see Xeno is building up rather a large force, throwing down a macro hatch as well on the way to 2-2. So really going heavily into these melee upgrades, not looking for the Roach Hydra combination, really looking for Ling, Bling, Muta. And whoa, Queen, you got to get out of there. That Queen is 100% dead. But now could set up for a good flank here. Nathan turns around, trying to catch those Zerglings, but here come the Balings now. Balings start to get very good hits off, and these Hellions will slowly fall. Surrounds, and boom! All of the Hellions explode in glorious high definition. And oh my word, tank, you've got to get out of there. Tank in a terrible position, but it should stay alive just. Not enough of a follow-up force for Xeno to really put the pressure on. But still, that's a nice clear-up of those Hellions. And we've got 42 Zerglings on the way. All heading towards these rocks to break them down. Wants to take a 4th base now. Off the back of the macro hatch. The infestation pit is done. We could see Swarmos. We could see Locusts. We could even see Infestors. People do still sometimes make them. Meanwhile, we've got a Thor coming out. for Nathan, so he's preparing for the mutas and throwing down even more factories. We have just the one eBay down, but double armory starting to churn out those upgrades. He is behind, but of course the mutas do remain unupgraded at this point again. Hellions trying to be annoying, but well, Hellions, you can't shoot mutas, not even when you learn to stand up on 2 feet. And we've got a hive on the way, which is around the standard time, heading towards that 15-minute mark. So Xeno really hitting up on this. Now the mid is starting to do some damage here, trying to pick off these siege tanks. Got to be careful with the Thors around, but that's a nice pick off of a siege tank. Still fairly few here. Still got 5 sat there waiting. He needs to pull them out of the position if he can, because he would love to hit the front, but I don't know if there's just too many. The Hellions moving over here, just so they can get caught in the splash damage. It's really the Widow Mines that are going to have to do something here, with the Thors coming in to help out, but without Dreading Claws, I think he might have been able to actually stop that. And as it is now, just needs to be careful of his positioning. These Thors are very, very slow, so right now they can't chase. If he magic boxes, he can actually kill this Thor. Which would be incredible. Right now it's at 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, but that's not enough even against the unupgraded mutas. Now does not want to fight 2 more Thors though with these, and now in fact we'll have to start looking at pulling out, and I like this from him. He doesn't go all in with it. He leaves his banelings here so he can catch any Hellions that try to move out, but otherwise he's just preparing now to continue to macro across the map. Good muta harassment. If we just have a look, yeah, up to 15 workers killed with that, so the muta's definitely worth it. Did manage to snipe a Thor and a couple of tanks as well, and continuing to be a pain in the arse with them, in fact. But slowly, they are dying, and now a 5th base coming up for Xeno, really, really taking his side of the map. Only 1 more base remains to be taken for him over here, and then you're starting to expand into the Terrans area, which is always a scary proposition, and we're seeing an Ultralisk Cavern. Xeno playing this to perfection. He has got so, look at this, over droning up to 89 drones. This is where the supply count, like, don't be fooled by this supply count being low. Fantastic scan there by Nathan as he catches that Ultralisk Cavern just on the edge of it. That is a perfect scan, but do not be fooled by this low supply. Look at this bank here for Xeno. This is getting out of hand with these extra bases finishing up with the overdroning. It's all about getting that bank out, and then the supply count will go insane as he starts to get out all the units he wants. Nice bailing hit there, actually really weakening those Widow Mines. And now Xeno trying a run by into some Widow Mines. Oh my word! The devastation there! Oh, the humanity! Or the Zergmanity? I don't know. How would you describe that? How? Zergity? No, that just sounds awful. Anyway, Nathan is continuing his press into Xeno's bases. And these Widowmines are doing such great damage. Starting to hit this 3-3 as well. And, well, these Evo Chambers will not be surviving to finish that 3-3. A few Speedlings come in trying to pick off some Widow Mines, but not going to be enough there. He needs a lot more. Here come the Ultras, though. And Ultras, well, they could certainly be enough. That's a lot of Ultras, a lot of Speedlings backing them. Of course, Widow Mines do start to do some damage to the Ultras, but Nathan is losing a lot of mech here, and this is where we will see the production of Nathan hopefully, the production of Xeno hopefully come into play, as he does now take the supply lead. He's starting to pick off these Widow Mines as well that are being rallied across the map. Nathan, I don't know if you should be doing this. Nathan's sending more and more units in to be killed. He's going to lose Hellbats here. He's going to lose Widow Mines. Another good Widow Mine shot, though. And here comes Speedlings to surround and finish off these Thors with 2-2. Should be enough to at least pick 2 off, if not all 3. Yes, all 3 of these Thors isolated will be picked off by those Zerglings, and we're seeing more and more Ultras coming out. And now look at the supply difference. This is what I talked about. It's 171 supplies to 142. Nathan trying to move out, trying to take this base, but I'm sorry, Nathan, that is not happening. Trying to send Widow Mines out. They're going to burrow. Now, if these Zerglings were stupid enough to walk into them, then they would all die, but luckily Xeno is not terrible at the game. Xeno knows what is up. This is a fantastic game between these two players, and this is the level of practice we're seeing coming out of Mythology. This is why these players are improving so quickly and doing so well. Oh! Once again, the Speedlings get devastated, but the Ultras are here to clean up for Xeno and Nathan. Nathan, can you stay here? He does have a planetary fortress morphing, but I don't know if that's enough, because Xeno is going to march up here with Ultralisks. The Ultralisks are exploding every now and then, but they are getting so much done. And back at home, we're seeing Speedlings start to stream out across the map for Xeno, trying to support these Ultras. The one thing is, he really does want to clear these Widow Mines. That's going to be the real problem for the Speedlings. Here they start to come in, but there is no Overseer here. So again, not actually able to see those, but still plenty of time to do the damage before... Oh, another great Widow Mine hit there. The Widow Mines are what is keeping Nathan in this game right now. But still, I feel like Xeno just has too much here. So much bank, so much production, able to take them up. He has this base that right now is just a macro hatch. All of these minerals just waiting to be mined as he starts to mine out in his other bases throughout the course of this game. He is ready for this, and he's doing so much damage to Nathan. Damage that it will take Nathan a very long time to recover from. At this point, it would be wise of Xeno to stop and really start to build up a force again. If you're going to continue to throw away units piecemeal, that will allow the Terran to start to get back into the game. One of the things for him, finally we're going to see Overseers in production. Really does need those. He needs to start clearing up these Widow Mines. And I love this patch where the creep has just been taken down by this Widow Mine. That is absolutely fantastic. Slowly just separating the bases from one another. It's not going to be enough though. Nathan is in a very precarious position. This is a lot of Widow Mines, and the problem is now, with a large force of Ultras, with the Overseers there as well, I mean, they do have drilling, the tunneling claws, so or drilling claws rather, so they will be able to burrow very quickly. And now we're starting to see an extra spire being remade. The Greater Spire go up, Corruptors coming out. That Blinding Cloud will... No, that's a Viper ability. In that case, I don't really know why the Corruptors. I don't see them being a great deal of help in the future. But still, Nathan with another big push. And we're starting to see these supply counts evening up. But the problem is, he's just going to lose so much during this push. All of these Widow Mines will go down. The Speedlings now come in from behind. Now, at this point, while Xeno is behind in supply, again, he can just remake this so fast, especially with the continued upgrades that will be coming out. Now going to have to get these Overseers, well, actually not quite out of there. I think this one link will just finish clearing up these Widow Mines. Very unfortunate there for Nathan, just enough. So again, the Widow Mines are really what's keeping Nathan in this game at this point. The problem is, well, he just doesn't have the kind of bases that his opponent does. Xeno has been allowed to take the map. There's just been no way for Nathan to really stop him from doing that, and that becomes a real problem. As now we're seeing this switch into Broodlords, something we've not seen so much now from Zergs. They are favouring the Ultralisk lately. They're favouring a lot of mid-game timings, in fact. A lot of games with Zergs not even getting to late game. So it's going to be this kind of Ling-backed up... Swarm Host, Broodlord and Muta Corruptor. I'd like to see him keep some Corruptors in there, just in case of, well, the massive Starport Viking switch. But again, Xeno continues to take the map, now expanding over pretty much to the Terran side. The map can be split. Oops, I can't actually click the minimap in that way to draw a line. This is not Dota 2. The map can be split vertically, so still a completely viable base for him to take, especially with the way Nathan is only really able to take this piece of the map. Again, Nathan not really able to expand anywhere. He can't expand down to here yet. He's going to try, but it's going to be so woefully undefended, really. It's going to be very, very hard for him to defend that, should Xeno decide that he wants it dead. And as it is, Xeno is just building up this fantastic composition. So many Broodlords! Seriously, that is 13 Broodlords right there, backed up with some meters, with Speedlings underneath it. It's just going to get insane. The Widow Mines aren't going to do enough to that. And again, here's what I'm talking about. It's very, very hard for him to keep this base up. There's so many SCVs will begin to die here. I mean, the Widow Mines will come in, they will clear up these Lings. In fact, it looks like the Lings will get out of there. But still, that's not enough. That's so many workers lost there. It's now up to 34 killed in total for Xeno. Only 58 SCVs at this point to 94 drones still. So many drones he could sack, but as it is, he wants to keep them up. He wants to keep producing this bank. Xeno just in an incredible position. I cannot stress just how good of a position Xeno is in right now. He's getting plenty more Broodlords. How many Broodlords do you need? And then with the Overseers to back them up, all of these Widow Mines are just going to be taken out. This is just going to be one huge concerted push. Great scan there by Nathan. If there's one thing about Nathan today, it has been that his scans are spot on. Great stuff from him. But nonetheless, this is going to be a hard one for him to hold again. It's going to take very good Widow Mines. It's going to take clever use of the Thors. It's going to take good Viking control. And if we just take a look at the upgrades, we're at 2-2-2-2 to just 1-1 for the Broodlords right now. So that can be counted against them. But here we see the Broodlords start to fire off. He has to be careful here. That is a mass Widow Mine burrow, and look at the devastation already. Widow Mine's taking out so many of those Broodlords. That's why we're not seeing them. Widow Mine's still very strong here. And now Nathan is the guy in the great position. That was really not good control there by Xeno, allowing his Broodlords to stay over those Widow Mines, not using Speedlings to take the shots first, not using his Broodlings to take the hit, taking them directly on top of his Broodlords. That's not what you want to do. And now he's in the situation where he's given Nathan a window to push in, to keep pushing out. We've got 12 Corruptors on the way, but it's going to be a while until they're Broodlords. So really he has to hold this back with Speedlings alone, which is not going to be possible with this vast amount of Widow Mines. Xeno is in trouble. Xeno has played this perfectly up until that one pivotal moment, and now he's really in trouble here. Amanda, another Mythology player, is so excited seeing Nathan pull the game back like this with a great move. Oh, look at those Baneling hits, though. Incredible Baneling hits. Is it enough? I don't know. Perhaps Xeno will just hold on here. Sending in more and more Speedlings to clean this up. The game is not over just yet, but there's still an awful lot of Widow Mines here, and they're going to start to fire off again. If they could have cleared up all those Overseers, that would have been a nice thing for him. Eventually, all of these Widow Mines will die, but Xeno is now in a tougher position than he was earlier today. We really did see a switch, and it was all down to that crucial engagement by Xeno, wherein he really did not utilise those Broodlords effectively over the Widow Mines. There are many better ways to engage than that. We've got a ton of Banelings morphing, by the way. This is going to be the way that Xeno sees to get out of here. Just a huge Baneling bust, even versus Mech. Rolling in right now, clearing everything of Nathan's up. Only the Vikings remain, and now he's going to have to be careful. These Widow Mines are going to burrow again, but if he catches them... Oh, in fact, they're just off a little bit too far to the right, and now this base is going to come under attack. I don't think there's enough here of Xeno's units to kill it. And meanwhile, these Widow Mines are going to continue to do some harassment for Nathan in this position, and now he's just going to start to try and take down Thor. Just doing whatever he can with these Speedlings to try and come back into it, but we still have units for Nathan moving about the map, being an incredible pain. This base has to get evacuated. He has to leave it. You are going to lose so many drones. And now we're seeing a switch into Swarm Host, so switching back into that Tier 2 tech now. But this is quite far behind. Obviously, I do not believe... Nope, Enduring Locust has not been researched yet. So, not going to be as good. That would have been better earlier on, perhaps to supplement the Ultras. Oh, and once again, we are just seeing Widow Mines clear up absolutely everything of Xeno. Xeno he's in trouble here. Nathan has very much pulled about, and now look at this as well. Nathan even gets to see that Swarm Host if he was looking there at the time. That is really bad luck for Xeno. Now, eventually these Widow Mines should be cleaned up, but there's again no Overseer here, and this has been a real big problem all the way through. Xeno not using his Overseers correctly to reveal these Widow Mines. And now we've got a bunch of Locusts of the non-enduring variety moving about, but again they can't see the Widow Mines. So, not so great. And, well, look at this amount of Vikings. You can actually start to land these and do damage. Swarm Host just walking into Widow Mines, being blown apart. Xeno with just one last huge siege. But he's losing everything in the main. All of this tech will go down. The spawning pool, the Ultralisk Cavern, the Greater Spire. He's coming back with Speedlings to try and defend it. Meanwhile, we have Widowmines surrounding these bases. We are down to just 48 drones. Up to 45 workers killed. Incredible moves by Nathan. As I said before, all this tech has died. All he has to do is hold this siege. That's it. Once these swarm hosts are dead, Xeno is dead. Xeno does not have an army. He has Speedlings and he has this army of swarm hosts. So once this army of swarm hosts is dead, Xeno has nothing. And that's, well, that's just too big of a problem for him. Honestly, at this stage of the game, Xeno is dead. I struggle to see a way back for him. He's lost so much of his economy. He's lost so many units. All of his tech structures are gone. He's got a spire here. He's remaking a spawning pool. He's got no hive. He's got no lair. He's got nothing. He has to win this game with a handful of swarm hosts and whatever speedlings he can make. He is down to less than half the supply of his Terran opponent. We have Vikings actually, I think, willing to land an attack here, because I think they could theoretically take them out. Yeah, and look at that, lands and then just picks back up when he sees the Locust. He's going to wait for the Locust to move out and then could potentially land behind them again. And we've got Widowmines coming in to help out as well. A scan goes down and boom, 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 boom. All the swarm hosts start to disappear. Locust disappearing as well. We have 3 swarm hosts left here. We have no drones at this base. We have no drones at this base. We have no minerals at this base. No minerals. No minerals or, in fact, tech structures. We have 1 semi-mining base for Xeno. Xeno is at 31 supply. Xeno is dead. Long live Nathan. We are about to see a GG. I mean, there just has to be no doubt about it. We're seeing a hive go down, but I just don't see what he's going to do. He has enough to maybe build a bit of an army, but that's it. That's not what Zergs do. They don't build one army and crush their opponent. This isn't Wings of Liberty ZVP, bro. This is Heart of the Swarm TVZ, and I'm afraid you screwed up, and Nathan is absolutely storming it with these just masses of Widow Mines. Like, the amount of Widow Mines this guy has built is unreal. 72 Widow Mines. Look at the production tab. There is nothing in production. Nathan is at max supply. He's just building up a bank. Xeno, he's like, well, Hydras? Maybe Hydras? What do I do? There are Widow Mines everywhere. There are 72 Widow Mines walking directly up into my base. There's nothing left for me. I've got 18 supply and I'm about to fall to a Terran player here in this Myth vs Myth matchup. Wow, that is a tongue teaser if ever I've heard one. I think Nathan at this point is like, well, why are you still here? Why are you still in this game? What's happening? As there's just no mining left for him. I mean, the one thing is, with just these Widow Mines, with literally just 71 Widow Mines now, he can't actually attack buildings. Like, at some point, you're going to have to start losing some of these Widow Mines so that you can build things that kill hatcheries. Like, seriously. Of course, until that point, he could be taking extra bases. There's one more base to take here. Otherwise, he's just going to have to wait for his opponent to GG. His opponent here at 13 supply. I'm sorry this game is going on because this game is over. There's really no two ways about it. This game is completed. Now he's just sending in SCVs to take a look here. Okay, double Hydra Den, he says. Okay, a ton of Spine Crawlers, he says. But, so what? Really, so what? There, you have 66 minerals, 531 gas. I have nearly 12,000 minerals. I have got nearly 4,000 gas. Nathan could not be more in control of this game if Xeno had fallen asleep at this point. There is nothing Xeno can do here to win this game. It's 100%. That's just not how StarCraft 2 works. So once again, apologies for a game that is dragging a bit at the end, but what an incredible game it was in that mid-section. Oh my word. I think Xeno is really struggling to digest this loss at this point. He was so far ahead at one point, and he just threw away too many units, and then that awful engagement with the Broodlords. High Lemony Tag. Nice to see you jumping into a video like that. But this is it. There are units that can hit buildings now. It is 100% time for Xeno to get out of this game. There is no longer any way he can survive. He has a few Hydras here, and the only thing they're doing is killing SCVs, which of course allows Nathan to make yet more Widowmines, Hellbats, and Siege Tanks. I just want to look at this one. Let's start here. Here, the Widowmine line begins as we move up across this entire map to this ramp. Like, there is just no way for Xeno to move anywhere. Terrans are one of the greatest territorial armies now. We're seeing Burrowed Investors. They're not going to do anything, but hey, at least he's trying. He's still going. It might be 21 supply to 200, but he's still trying. Goodbye, Hydras. So can we take a look at the mechanic station? We've got 7 drones. We've got 4 infestors. That's 100% of the forces that Xeno has left. Xeno has 2 mineral patches to mine from. He has a total of 55 minerals remaining to be got. And the infestors do a sum total of nothing. And now they leave. It's 13 supply to 200. Finally! A GG comes out right at the end, when literally there was nothing else Xeno could do in this game. There were no units left for him to control. The GG comes out. Well played by Nathan, though. Fantastic, fantastic game between these two players. That is MythCast. Guys, if you want to see anything more from these guys, go to www.clan-myth.com. As you can see, it's in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, right beneath that lovely Voxer Gaming logo. Created for me by a wonderful person called Amy Hinkle. So, guys, that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow over on the Game Social TV stream, casting the EMS Raid Call Team League. For the ESL with Tetra. On Tuesday, Myth TV will be going again at twitch.tv/MythOdin, featuring Odin and Xeno once again, I believe. I will not be available for that. I am unfortunately working. And then, all the way next Sunday, I'll be casting the Dutch StarCraft League Team League Grand Finals bracket something. Words are a thing. And of course, Mythology are doing fantastically there. So it's great to see. Everything is coming up roses. I'm done for today, and I will see you all again shortly, I'm sure of it. Have a great day.